Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to another episode of On the Couch with Creatives. I say good morning because I'm here in the UK, but good afternoon or good evening if you're anywhere else in the world. I'm Melanie Perry.
And I'm Julie Hyde-Mew.
And this is On the Couch with Creatives. Fans and followers of our show will know by now that we're part of the Creatives Group, the private network for creative professionals everywhere. Together, we help you create at your best, connect you with like-minded individuals, and therefore help you to grow your creative business. That sounds like a good idea to you and you'd like to find out more? Please don't hesitate to contact us after the show. We'd be delighted to talk to you. But this is On the Couch and we've got a rather special one for you today. So Julie, who is on the couch today?
We have rocker Gary Moat, and Gary is most famous for occupying the drum stool for hard rock band Heavy Pettin, formed in 1981. And during the 80s, the band played several high-profile supporting slots with the likes of Ozzy Osbourne, Kiss, Motley Crue, Whitesnake, and also headlined their own tours. And the band's debut album in 1983, Lettin' Loose, was followed up with Rock Ain't Dead in 1985, co-produced by Queen's Brian May, and which contained their most famous track, Soul Survivor. Well, after the late 80s, Gary went rather quiet, and he popped up again in 2016 when he formed a new band called Burnt Out Wreck, and they released the album Swallow. It's been described as an absolute gem of an album. So let's get Gary on the couch. Hi, Gary. Welcome to On the Couch with Creatives.
Hello, ladies. How are you?
Oh, well, all the better for seeing you. This is a pleasure. And this is going to be fun. We hope it's going to be fun. So let's start right from the beginning, Gary. You hail from Glasgow in Scotland. Do you still live there? I mean, how did you get into the whole rock scene?
I am from Glasgow, and I left Glasgow to live in England, 1985. So many years ago, and it all happened for me at an early age, becoming interested in playing drums in the 60s, late 60s, maybe early 70s. And fast forward that to 1983, signed a record contract with the band that I was in at the time, called Heavy Pettin. And we ended up moving down to London and going back and forth between London and Glasgow, and for many years in the 80s. So that was how we get into the public eye, as it were.
Why did you choose the drums, Gary? Because I've always had a desperate urge to play the drums. I've always loved watching drummers, and I am a little bit crazy. And I love that drummers are just a little bit crazy. I like the best ones are just, and I watch them, I would love to do that, but nobody would let me. Nobody bought me a drum kit. And everybody said to me when I said, I love to play the drums, said, oh, you can't do that. But why can't I do that?
Yeah, exactly. That's right. You know, that's what I said as well when I was bashing pots and pans out of Mum's cupboard in the kitchen. When about 9 years of age, my parents eventually gave in, bought me a little drum kit from Woolworths. You know, it was just like basically one step up from a toy, you know, but it was wooden and it was, you know, it was a kit. When I was, well, I don't know, about 11. And I wrecked that within half a year to a year. There was no skins left. There was nothing. It was just. So my dad eventually gave in and bought me a Premier kit. That lasted for a year, and then got another kit, and then maybe anger issues, hitting drums and hitting things.
Very satisfying about beating the drums. I could, yeah.
Your neighbours must have loved you.
No. Unfortunately, you know, we lived in this big main road in Glasgow, and we lived in a big three-bed semi, and there was one old elderly woman next door. There was two next door to us that way, two elderly sisters that lived together. And so everybody was kind of like that. And as you can imagine, as soon as I got a drum kit, that was all hell broke loose for them. You know, their world was destroyed. Peaceful retirement, not. But yeah.
How did you get into the whole professional scene, becoming a drummer, actually doing gigs?
Actually doing gigs? Well, you know, it all started from, you know, going to secondary school, meeting people, likewise musicians, you know, oh, do you play drums? You play guitar? Oh, great. Let's form a band. So we sort of done that from right back then. And we just kept going. Some of the members changed here and there, but there was always three people, which was myself, Gordon Bonner, and Brian Waugh. And then eventually, as we come up into the 80s, we became heavy petting, and we said we need to up our game. We became a 5-piece instead of a 3 or a 4-piece, and started writing slightly heavier material, and actually pushed for it, you know. I mean, we played gigs, plenty of gigs in clubs and pubs, and all the way up through that period, in my teens, mid-teens to late teens. But then after that, then we went for it, and we were very lucky to get signed. So yeah, that's how that worked.
It's lucky, because they say that's the hard thing, isn't it? There's so many bands out there who are desperately trying to get noticed, and when you can get signed, or you know, get attached, I guess, to a bigger band, like, you know, you did gigs with Kiss and Ozzy Osbourne and some of the real great names that I remember from my earlier days. You know, I mean, gosh, that's quite a good start, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I mean, you know, it was great. It was that's a major achievement in our lives, doing those things. You know, it wasn't pot luck. You know, I mean, there was money involved. You know, we did sign to a record company. We had an album out. You know, they invested in us. They invested in buying on to those tours. You know, Ozzy and Kiss, and you know, going to the States, Motley Crue and stuff, and you know, but it does cost a lot of money. You don't get it for free, you know. You just have to have that in your head that this is what we're going to do, from an early age, and just get stuck into it, and you know, try as best you can not to listen to people, because they don't know what they're talking about. It's inside you, your music, your idea. You try and focus on that.
Did you ever have a family member like John Lennon's aunt who said, "You can't make money out of music, John. Get yourself a proper job"?
Everybody said that, didn't they? Everybody always will, you know. I think that it's probably sadly ringing more true these days when you don't make money out of music. So, you know, back in the 80s, at least they were throwing money at you.
Yeah, I mean, those were the days of money, wasn't it? The 80s, you know, it was all, you know, power suits and some Gordon Gekko or whatever, and everything was just bigger and louder, and there was money. There was seemed to be there money to flash about.
Yeah.
What was it like? I'm going to ask. What was it like? I want some stories here. What was it like, you know, supporting those at like Kiss and Ozzy Osbourne, especially Kiss? Talk about Kiss, because I quite like them.
Well, fantastic. You know, I mean, I think, you know, I think we kind of got into Kiss when we were about 14 or 15 years of age. And so to then move from that up until I was, 22 when we went 22, 23 when we supported Kiss, age-wise. And, you know, meeting them was just like ridiculous, you know, because you think, wait a minute, this isn't playing at the pub, is it, in Glasgow, you know? Here we are, and we're in, let's say, the biggest one, which was Wembley, you know, and you're just thinking, how did this happen, you know? It's just like bananas. So you go out on stage and, you know, there's 10,000 people staring at you, you know? It's just like, my goodness, you know. But yeah, they were just great. It was great, you know, and that was the biggest shows you get back in the 80s, you know, bands of that stature, you know. So Yeah.
What did it feel like? I mean, when you went out on the stage supporting a huge band for the first time, and you say you stepped out onto that platform, and there were like thousands of screaming fans. What did that feel like the first time you did it? Can you remember?
Yeah, you just wonder what's going on. I wouldn't say that everybody was there screaming for us because we were the support band, obviously, waiting for us to do the screaming. But, yeah, I think I've said it before, but we went to Stafford Bingley Hall, which was massive, and there was thousands of people rammed into that place, and the stage was made of scaffolding. And as soon as everybody started moving when the band started playing, they moved, but it was like the sea moving. It was like total waves of people. It was. I know they've got mosh pits and that, and since then, but they didn't have that then. It was just you went to a gig and people just stood and watched you. But in that a hall, it was so scary because I'm up on a drum riser and I'm looking down off the drum riser, but the whole stage is moving and I'm moving in it. What? I thought I was dead, It's like you could just imagine them just straight into the stage, the whole thing going. So, scary days, scary times.
And what did it feel like the first time when you got on stage and the cheering was for you when you played your own gigs?
Oh, it's great. It's great. You just, it's all about hoping that people do like your music. I suppose at the end of the day, personally, I just write songs for myself, and if somebody else likes it, then thank goodness that's good. But I've been in quite a few arguments about that down through the years. People saying, "But you need to write for the people." I say, "How do I know what the people want?" I write my songs for me. I like what I like. But yeah, amazing, amazing. It's just great to play a big gig and people are singing along with you, and it just makes you feel really good. Nervous, but really good in case you forget the lyrics.
Well, at least people are singing your lyrics along. That sounds good. At least there's not deathly silence and crickets. That would be just awful.
Definitely so. Yeah,
And
no.
And since the late 80s, that sort of era sort of fizzled out, really. What have you been doing since the 80s?
Since the 80s, just moved on, me and my wife Claire, we had 4 children, so that kind of life took over, the home life, and just a few jobs in between that and in between another band forming, and I became the singer instead of playing drums because I was writing the songs, so I might as well sing them. And so that sort of came naturally. And after that, just more of the same, keeping your foot in, your hand in music and bands.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
how is your voice? Because we're going to play a track of yours a little bit later on. But you've got a very distinctive style of voice. And I've always wondered, the people, rock singers, especially with that real kind of voice, does it put a huge strain on your vocal cords? It's a miracle you've got any voice left.
I've always had this. It's got a bit grittier and growlier as I got older, I think, Yeah. I used to sing all the high harmony parts and stuff back in the day in heavy pen in my old band. But in nowadays in Burnt Out Wreck, I'm the lead singer, and it does put a strain on you, but we don't really play that often, so I don't really need to worry about it. But I suppose there's that, if you play a lot, then you don't worry about it because you'll be really fully on form, because your throat will be used to it. But yeah, it is a worry, and I have lost my voice. I lost my voice in 2021. Went in to record our third album, and I lost my voice, and I just thought, what has happened here? It's just gone. And I was singing in three voices. I could hear three voices, an octave above and an octave below, and it was all raspy and growly. And I just had to leave it for, I think it was 4 months we left the vocals for.
Wow.
I done all the backing vocals for I think that was what probably done it. I sang all the backing vocals, all the harmony parts for 11, 12 songs, and done it in, I don't know, a couple of days or something daft, and just in, so that probably was the wrong thing to do.
Yes.
Well, when you formed Burnt Out Wreck, and you stopped playing the drums and you became the frontman, the vocalist, do you miss not playing the drums, or do you miss playing the drums?
No, I don't miss playing drums. No. I can still play drums, but I don't. My drummer Paul Gray, he's a great drummer, a drum teacher, and just formed a band, and that was that. I don't. Sometimes I'll play maybe in the rehearsal studio or something. I'll say no. Let's have it. Let's hear this. How does this go? Does it go this way? Does it go? But mostly he does what he wants to do on parts. So, yeah.
Well, let's hear a track from your album Swallow.
So those were the not so dulcet tones of Gary Moat, but fabulous nonetheless. I'm getting my rock vibe on now. I'm feeling my rock vibe. I'm feeling my rock chick vibe coming on. How about you, Julie?
A rock chick. Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. Did you have a lot of groupies back in the day?
Back in the day, I don't think I'm allowed to say that in case my wife is watching this. Yeah, of course there was. I mean, it was the 80s. Everybody was absolutely bananas, bonkers. Like I mentioned earlier, we went to America with Motley Crue, so we were on a tour. It was us, a German band called Accept, who are now a huge band, and Motley Crue. It was us, Accept, and Saxon, another massive British band, and so everything, and that was in stadiums as well in America. And America was, let's just say, just crazy, just absolutely bonkers, and the women were mad.
Kind.
Mad.
The things
Mad.
they got up to just to get backstage is just ridiculous, So yeah.
Wow. Well, let's get back to Burnt Out Wreck. How did you come up with that name?
Look at the face.
Oh, you all burnt out wrecks. Is that what you're saying?
I think as they get older, the rest of the band are becoming burnt out wrecks. Yeah, definitely. I just looked in the mirror one day, back in 2016, 15, 16, and I just thought to myself, oh boy, look at the state here, you just too much to drink. What are you doing? What are you doing? What a wreck, And then, the band prior to that had been called Mother's Ruin, so there was far too many Mother's Ruins in the world, and obviously everything to do with gin. And I just thought it'd be good to just go and record songs and have a fresh name. And when I googled Burnt Out Wreck, nothing came back, so I said, right, good. I'm just going to go with that because it makes a good logo, as it were. So that was it done. Dead.
Well, forming the band and then coming out with the album Swallow seemed to take the music industry by surprise. Was it a surprise?
Not to me, because I'd always been writing these songs like that, and I think the surprise was for most people hearing it was just that, oh my God, that's the drummer from that band, back in the day, and I didn't know he could sing like that, and you just think, well, my name's there for writing songs, so tick that box, tick, right? Don't you read the sleeve then? And then the next thing is, you come to see us live, and who's singing all the high parts? Oh, it's him, right? Tick. It's just whatever. Whatever. So yeah, that's probably the surprise. So a lot of people just thinking, oh, yeah, well, we like that. Instead of, oh, that's going to be a drummer who sings like that.
I suppose the big surprise with a lot of 80s rockers is that people say, my God, he's still alive.
Yeah, these days, yeah, it's getting like that, I mean, it is terrible, it's frightening,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, especially on Facebook, where you just, you see it all coming into you, don't you? And friends and, relatives, just passing away. It's just, oh man. Yep, scary stuff. I don't like being, well, actually tomorrow, I'm 63 tomorrow, so I don't like that, being 63.
Well,
It's
happy
frightening
birthday.
because you do start, when you hit your 50s, 60s, and definitely the 70s, and your friends start dying around you, it's really quite, I mean, besides the pain of losing them, it's really quite depressing.
Yes, it is, so many memories really of people, you just think, what happened, What happened? I mean, I was at a funeral
Went like that.
for my uncle, and seeing all the family and stuff, and just I was looking at everyone, and I just thought, this is not meant to be us, what we do.
Yeah, and I think in certain industries as well, it seems to take its toll. People who are in the media, like film actors and musicians, especially at the height of fame at certain times, that they battle with a lot of things. There's a lot of drugs, there's a lot of various other things going on, and it's quite sad. You look at certain movies and you're looking at think, well, he's dead, she's dead, he's dead, and you're thinking, and actually they weren't that old when they passed. Looking back at some of the Harry Potter films now, a lot of them, Robbie Coltrane, Alan Rickman, all these greats. You're thinking, my God, you're just picking them off one by one. I'm thinking it's really bad.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Okay, let's get off this depressing subject. Let's talk about the music you're working on now. Have you released another album? You're planning to release another album?
The last album came out late 22, which is an album called Stand and Fight. And since then, we've just been playing gigs here and there as Burnt Out Wreck, and I am constantly, I've got songs going on, ideas going on in my head. So, yeah, just recently I've been getting a bit busy on the songwriting front. So I've got an awful lot of stuff to sift through and say, which is better, and make a big list of that. And it takes a bit of time. And I've still got ideas from years ago that never ever came to fruition. And so it'd be great to finish these little ideas. I just write a guitar riff, do a bit of singing, and put it away for years as it go on, because I'll be that interested in something else that I've just played. So I suppose that's the same with everything in life, like move on. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I'm okay for songs.
Yeah, the curse of the creative brain, it just doesn't stop, does it? The creative brain, when you've got that in your mind, it just you can't turn it off. It's like, we'll do this and then we'll move on to that, and we'll do this and then we'll do that, and years later pull open a drawer, oh look, there's my 20 million songs that I never published.
That's right. I'm forever getting into trouble from my wife for it. When she'll be talking to me for something, I'll be driving along going somewhere, and then I'll turn around and say, right, where are we going? And I've just told you where we're going, and I'll be like, yeah, but I've got an idea for a song, and I'm trying to keep it in my head because I've not got nothing to record it on, so I'm going to lose it as we're driving along. And so or else I jump out of bed in the middle of the night or something. I've got some crazy thing going on. I say, what are you doing? I've got an idea, and I come and record a little bit. And so yeah, I'm sure it's drives the same.
On that note of creative brains, and we talked about how you started in the business. What would you, for people that are coming up now, and I don't know whether it's harder or easier now, because the rise of social media makes it easier to get your stuff out there in front of people, like with YouTube and Facebook and live recordings and all the schmaz that you can do. What would your top 3 tips be for somebody, wanting to create music in their life and go professional? What do you wish you had known when you were starting out?
Wish I had known. I mean, in the 70s, let's say, or the 60s or 70s, you just had your instrument. And if, I don't know what happened to me and why I wanted to start playing drums, for instance. I just knew that watching TV, Top of the Pops and stuff, and it would be the drummer that attracted me. I don't know if it's for the same reason as yourself, obviously, for just hitting things. But, it just looked great, and it was something that I was into. I suppose I was in the Boys Brigade at the time, and I used to try to play the snare drum because I loved the band, and they used to march around, obviously, on a Sunday, and I was part of that as just in the 60s as a little boy. But that never ever got anywhere. So then I managed to get the drum kit. But yeah, I think that we had like a little tape record record things or record tracks off the radio or whatever, and that was how we recorded our music, you know. And so these days, you know, like at the moment, we're sat like a Mac computer, you know, and I do a lot of my stuff, or did a lot of my stuff on GarageBand. So you just click a button and there it is. You got a studio, which is probably better than any other going into a recording studio and wasting your money, you know, because you can just do it here. And kids these days can do it all on their phone and record something that just sounds world class. It's just great. So yeah, as long as you're, you know, they're obviously going to be inspired by something, and then they'll kick off playing guitar or whatever instrument or singing. Yeah, go do that and stick to it, and you know, just carry on. You know, like I said earlier, don't listen to what other people have got to say, because what do they know? You know, they don't know. Yeah.
I think that's a really good one, is just don't listen to other people, because I think there's a lot of, especially in the creative arts, and we found this a lot, haven't we, Julian? A lot of people that we've interviewed and a lot of people that we speak to in the creative industries, people don't seem to regard it as a proper job. And it's like, well, actually, I'm an artist, or I'm a graphic designer, or I'm a writer, and you can make money at these things. And even if you're a musician and you don't hit the heady heights of superstardom, you still can make quite a decent money for writing, I know, jingles for adverts, or, you know, music for corporate video, or there are lots of different avenues these days to share your music with people and get jobs to get your paid for music out there. So I think not listening to people to bring you down, say you can't do that, it's not a proper job, is not the argument it once was. I don't think.
I mean, yeah, it's not a proper job, and it is. It is a real struggle financially, you know, and you put everything you've got into it. You know, you buy your best guitar, say, that you can possibly afford, even though, you know, I'd imagine that a £50 to £100 guitar these days is better than anything that we used to have back in the day, because they were crazy guitars, they were junk. And so you can get that cheap, and then, you know, but actually trying to make the money and get the money in, everybody takes the money from the artist, from the band, you know, and that's the hard part, especially these days, especially with the internet. Unfortunately, everybody can just go click and listen to you and don't pay for it, you know. I mean, that's one of my gripes. That's every musician's gripe, you know. I mean, I've got 770,000, you know, downloads of my tracks worldwide just for 6 months of last year, and I got £42 for it. So if that's going to keep you alive, then you're on cloud cuckoo land, okay? So, you know.
Yeah. We've had that with another one of our music producers who's a creatives member, who's got a lot of his music. He does electronic music, and he has got tracks on Spotify. And he said, you know, I've had over a million downloads, and I've made about 53p or something ridiculous. And it's like, for God's sake.
Yeah, I mean, it's great that it's out there, and it's great that people are listening to it. But, you know, at the end of the day, what are we doing? It's not an incentive to write new material, is it? You know,
you've got to eat, haven't you?
And what other tip would you give to the youth, the young, very much younger generation that's coming up now, and they're hitting the stage and throwing themselves around and bashing the drums and playing their guitars? Would you give them advice about staying on the straight and narrow, or would you say just enjoy every moment?
Oh, definitely enjoy every moment. You know, it's all about you. It's all about the youth, I'm afraid. People my age, we're just grumpy old men, you know, and we can't attract the audiences that the younger people can, because they are younger people, you know. You just have to look at Taylor Swift, I suppose. Check her out. She's world domination. There you go, click. She's done it, and just it's the young people that they attract young people, and then off it goes. So I can't possibly speak for them because it's a whole different world that I live in. People say to me, "What do you like any of this?" And I'll say, "No, I just listen to AC/DC and Judas Priest and stuff. I just listen to the music that I used to listen to when I was a teenager. Nothing changes, So I don't know about that."
I would say I would give a top tip. You might be able to cut this up, Julie, but my top tip for youngsters in the music industry is you have to be business savvy these days. And like Taylor Swift, she's great, love her, but she's got a really good business manager. She's got a really good marketer. She's got people pushing her in all the right places. And if you can, again, it's a money thing, but if you can team up with somebody in your university who is doing a marketing degree or a business promoter kind of degree, seek out the people who are doing those kind of degrees while you're doing your music degree. If you're doing a music degree, seek out those people, because if they can help you and teach you how to promote yourself on social media. And again, Julie and I have had this conversation with a lot of people we speak to. It's like, but I'm an artist. I can't promote myself because I'm too in the art. I'm playing my music. I'm painting my masterpiece. I can't be doing that whole social media and blah, blah, blah. And then they say, but I'm bankrupt. But you need to get your art in front of people so that they can pay for it, so that you're not going to be quite so bankrupt. And it's trying to find those collaborations between, and the synergies between the artist and the people that can help you as a business. Because if you're going to do it full time, you're a business. You're not just an artist, you're a business. You need to put money on the table. You need to be able to feed your children. You need to be able to have some semblance of a lifestyle. So who do you know that is really good at marketing? Who is really good at putting all your stuff out on social media? Who is going to manage your money for you and not rip you off, and make sure that you keep your money in a safe place and invest it in the right things, whether that be kit or talent for your band or whatever. I think that's quite important, because if you're going to be successful, you do have to have the two things. You need to be able to be passionately wonderful creating your art, but you need to sell it as well. And if you're not so good at that, find somebody who is.
Do you agree, Gary? Did you have a good crew around you?
I agree with what you're saying. It would be great if we were all born and that was programmed into our brain to go seek these people out at an early age, wouldn't it? But, we're all too busy just trying to wake up in the morning and find the same pair of socks to put on. We get flung in at the deep end with a bunch of money grabbing, and I won't say any swear word. But yeah, we ended up with a manager. It wasn't the manager of choice. We did have a really big name manager who had a partner, and his partner didn't want to sign us at the time. So we had to take the manager that we got, or else our record deal would have dropped, because we'd be a band with no management, with no nothing, and they didn't want that at the time. So right from day one, you could say that everything just went, there's a plane crash happening, but you don't know that. But no, I mean, you see people saying, oh yeah, we signed and we got this amount of money. I mean, we got thousands. Plenty of money, but nobody said it's your money. They all said, this is my percentage, and offed it with it. And then everything else got spent on, like I said, recording albums, going on tour, and paying road crew, paying everybody videos, £20,000 or something a video, I mean, crazy money. Anything but here's money, go and buy a house, invest in this, do that. You don't get teams of people telling you that, Well, certainly we didn't, but I know many, many musicians from the 80s who signed for the same sort of money, same sort of deals that we did, and ended up with absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
And are still in debt to this day, by the way. It's just not something that goes away, it's just there.
Yeah, there's a lot of people, especially around the 80s, and say 80s businessmen remind me a bit of like shark. Yes, the Wolf of Wall Street, but they're very sharky, very wolfy, and very good at taking advantage of artists. They knew what they knew in the business end, but a lot of artists, like you said, you don't know what's right, you don't know what's fair, you don't know what you should be asking for, and making sure that you're fairly compensated. I think people are getting a bit more savvy about that in sort of universities, and from what I can see, Julie and I are in television and film, and filmmakers are beginning to be taught in their courses now about budgets, about money, and where they should be spending it, and what the things they need to be thinking about. And I think that's a really, really good thing, because artists, we are involved with making art. I love making beautiful films. I love making images come alive, and I'm like you, when people talk to me, it's like another language. I have images swirling in my head a lot, that would make a great movie, or and you can see it almost playing out in your head. But you need to be able to, if you're going to put that out there and try and make any money of it, there's a lot of things you need to know, and think people and industries you need to be aware of as well, producers and stuff, and make sure that you're not being taken on by anybody who's saying, right, that's a really good idea, I know how to monetize that, but I'll give you 5%. It's like, won't.
So what advice would you give to the rockers of today regarding finance? What would you say, looking back on your days and the things you did right or wrong?
Well, we were 22, 21, 22, 23 between the five people in the band. Came from Glasgow. We didn't know anything about the business side of it, anything of it, and we just wanted to play rock and roll, and knew that that's what we were good at. We knew we were good at it, so out we came, and that's what we done. When you signed the deals, we thought, this will be great. This guy knows how to do this. We've got this, we've got that, everything's in place. But we didn't personally keep on top of the money, and we didn't know, we were always told as songwriters, you've got to do this, you've got to spend the money on this, you'll get your money back in years to come when all this comes back in, and you'll get all the royalties back in. And unfortunately, we didn't become on Radio 1, Radio 2, we weren't getting played every hour on the hour or something, and that wasn't to be for us. But I would say you've got to keep your own self and keep your hand in it, and you try and hold on to the reins for it, because you end up with nothing. Think about your future, I think, really, there's a lot of years to get to 63, it's like,
keep your eye on the money, don't lose sight of the money. It's going.
Because it's like we said earlier, there is none these days, so you're going to have to be something special to be getting someone trying to get you signed up for £100,000. That's just no good. It doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen. There's no money coming back in for these people to give you that kind of advance. So
Excellent, good advice. Show me the money. It was whatever that movie, Tom Cruise. Show me the money. Keep me with the money.
That'll be a new song, will it?
Yeah. Right, we've come to that point in our show where we're going to play a fun little game with you, and our audience will get to know you a little bit better. We are on the couch, the psychological part of our show called On the Couch. So I'm going to show you some cards, and I'm going to run my finger along the card. You pick a card, and we're going to ask you about that card. You just say stop when you're ready.
Stop. Okay, stop.
Right.
She's cheating already, is it?
I'm cheating. Yeah, didn't pick that one. No, I'm not. I promise. Would I cheat?
Not at all. Look at you.
I would never. Right. Oh, this is a good card, actually. This is a good card. You picked excellence. Excellence. So we're going to ask you creatively, of course, because we're all creatives here, creatively about excellence. So thinking about the word excellence, I'm going to ask, this is mean because I'm a filmmaker, so I see pictures. So I'm going to ask you, if it had a look, a physical look, excellence, what would it look like to you?
There's no right or wrong answer. Just tell us what's in your head.
Love.
Oh, that's nice. I like that. I'm going to ask you an easier question now because you're a musician. If excellence had a sound, what would it sound like? You're supposed to say Burnt Out Wreck at this point.
Yeah, I was just going to say it's got to be rock, hasn't it? It's got to be rock music, you know.
Rock music, absolutely, absolutely. Excellent. If you could feel it, if you could feel it, what do you think it would feel like?
Warm.
Warm. Yeah, you said love to the first one, so like a warm hug.
Like a snuggle blanket.
Yeah.
Not in my house. It's too warm in here for snuggle blankets. My wife likes to say she had the heating on yesterday. Right, let's not go there. We're not doing that. This is
I'm the same though. I'm with her on that. I get really, really cold all the time. And my husband calls me lizard woman.
Yeah.
Lizard woman, nice. But I do have to. I am the sort of person that has to have the heating up full blast all the time. And we've got a car now, thankfully, that has separate blowers, so I can have my side of the car like really boiling, and he can have the air conditioning on his side, which is really great because we used to have a lot of rows in the car because I can't breathe, it's too hot. And I go, what are you talking about?
Honestly, listen to you two moaning about your wife and your husband, and she's cold and I'm hot, and we're talking rock here, guys.
Yeah.
Gary.
Earlier, with what you were saying about people, you need to be American and just fully yourself. It's like they're full on. I think they're born with it plugged in. It's like, hey man, get off. I can't stand that.
Gary, it's been a delight. It's been an absolute delight to have you on our show. Thank you for agreeing to talk to us. It's been absolutely wonderful.
Thank you both. Thanks. It's lovely. Yeah.
Thanks, Gary. Been lovely to meet you.
Yeah, and you.
the internet. Stand and fight. Hiding in the shadows. Stand and fight. I can see you.